At the Bob Price Auto Group, we put the focus on you, where we strive for excellence in sales and service. Come see why we should be your number one choice. Check out this 2019 Silverado for only $28,990, or leased for $399 a month for 24 months with zero down. Or this 2019 Silverado Texas Edition, only $30,990. With the Bob Price Promise, we'll beat any other GM dealer's price. Visit us today or online at bobpriceautogroup.com.
It's game day for our Fredericksburg Battlin Billies. Church's Chicken in Fredericksburg has game day specials. The $20 game day and the $25 MVP family special. 12 dark pieces, 3 large sides, 6 honey butter biscuits, half a gallon of tea, and 4 apple pies. Student lunch specials starting as low as $4. Available for everyone Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, and dollar drinks all day. Try the Flamin' Honey Megabites Combo. Church's Chicken in Fredericksburg. Open every day, 10:30 to 10, 614 East Main, 830-997-7333.
Barefoot at 108 East Main in Fredericksburg can help you show your Battlin Billy pride. An epic selection of Battlin Billy gear. Barefoot also has a store full of hats, tees, tanks, polos, sweatshirts, and more. New items arriving weekly. Also adult, youth, toddler, and baby items. Don't forget the faculty discount, 15% off your entire purchase every day. Barefoot, 108 East Main in Fredericksburg, online, barefootcampusoutfitter.com.
The Inside Story has been family-owned and operated since 1981. The Inside Story is your custom decorating center with in-house designers, and the owners install your flooring too, so you know satisfaction is guaranteed. They sell carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, area rugs, wallpaper, paint, and much more. See the Inside Story's extensive showroom, Highway 16 South in Fredericksburg, online at theinsidestorytx.com.
Hey now.
Holy cow.
We got us a rowdy crowd in here this morning, Coach.
No doubt.
It's time for Coffee with Coach live at Barefoot, 108 East Main, Fredericksburg. Get your Battlin Billy gear right here and so much more. Nice fall weather. How about that? Feels like football weather. Yeah, I love it. That cold front here just in time. Huge win, double overtime a couple of weeks ago versus Bernie, 38-31. The first time beating Bernie since 2013.
Yeah.
Big win. I don't even have to ask how big it was, but how did you keep the kids focused, through the ups and downs to move their record to 2-3 headed into the district play here? New season.
Yeah.
The real season starts tonight.
New season. And let me shout out a plug here for Billy Boosters Paint the Town Red contest. That started the week of Bernie. And shout out to the businesses that are participating. Basically, they ask businesses to paint the front of their business red with Billy flags and Billy spirit. And there's 6 or 8 businesses for sure. I don't know them all, but want to shout out to them and Billy Boosters for doing that. They're going to announce the winner today, and the winner's going to get some sort of in-kind ad in the program or something next year, and a membership and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really cool. In particular, 72 Degrees is one of our anchor sponsors. They made a football player out of round bales. Yeah. It was awesome. And then this morning I'm driving to work, and Arrowhead Bank had decorated the front of their place, and several other places. I know McLean floored, and anyway, it's just a cool deal. And that was all kind of going into Bernie after homecoming. But, yeah, a huge win, indeed, a huge win. We've only beaten Bernie twice in 9 years, so it's always a big thing to beat them. Not to mention that momentum going into district. I mean, that's huge. Yeah, no question. We needed to right the ship, if you will. The reference we used this morning was Cortez burning the ships when he landed in the New World, and I congratulated our team for making the playoffs. We're in the 2019 playoffs now. They start tonight, and so we have to burn the ships, whether they be good ships of Bernie or they be bad ships of a loss to Cedar Creek or a past reference to when we played Liberty Hill or whatever. None of that stuff matters anymore. It's all about what are we going to do tonight against a really good football team from Liberty Hill. But certainly we're going to talk about Bernie, because what a huge deal, an amazing crowd, and an double overtime victory. I always give our coaches credit. We practice overtime in our scrimmages on purpose. And I've got to be, well, I know I am, because I'm the only coach that has coached as long in an overtime period. Back in the day they didn't do overtime, so I know we've been in more overtime games than any coach in the history of this program, and we're about even on those, and so because you practice it, you're able to do it. And that's what I told the kids when we got to the end of the game and we all came up and the two coaches go out and do the flip and decide whether you're going to play defense or whatever. I told the kids, I said, we've been here before. We're fixing to go get this done. And we did, and the coaches responded. And, what a great way to end playing defense. I can't give Coach Wilder and his staff enough credit for getting those kids in a position to make the plays you need to make. And you and I've referenced it before, and this is where, Coach Wilder and I are cut from the same cloth, in that as a defensive coach, you don't want to give up a single yard or a single point, and you're just angry all the time because you give up 3 yards or because you give up 4 yards or because they get behind you or whatever. But that's not a realistic way to coach defense in today's football. You watch maybe in the SEC, when all of your athletes are more talented than everybody you play, you can play football like that. But in the Big 12 and in the rest of the other conferences in college and in high school football, you certainly have to be opportunistic on defense, and
That's
you have
right.
to find a way to get a stop when you need a stop and when it matters to get a stop. And overtime is when it matters.
And there was some epic defensive
we
plays.
stopped them on fourth down on a quarterback sneak or whatever they tried to run. I mean, we just rejected them. It was like a wall of Billies that just pushed them backwards. And then we made some huge pass breakups. I've talked about Jared Beard before. I am never going to coach his aggressiveness out of him. There was some chatter on social media about him getting 3 personal fouls and whatever. That dude is a football player.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, it's football.
That dude could have played on my team in the 80s, and he would have been we used to get stickers on our helmets,
right,
because of how he plays the game. So I'm certainly not going to coach that out of him. He made a huge play. They called a targeting penalty. I almost got pulled off the field by the coaches because I was screaming at the officials because I did not want them to eject him. And they have that option at that point, and so I was adamant that I was going to have his back and make sure that he didn't get ejected, because arguably we lost to Tivy because he got ejected. So we had to make sure that didn't happen in that case. And it wasn't certainly they're going to call that as a targeting anytime the player is vulnerable. But it was a great play. And then he came back 2 plays later and made the play to end the game, which was huge as well. And then Jacob Lee's, golly, what a great story. He was able to give his testimony at YWhoop last week about what happened in the game, and he got benched in the game because he got beat, and he wasn't doing his job. He wasn't reading his keys, and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and he got beat, and he got down on himself, and he lost his confidence, and Coach Wilder rightfully told him, you're not going back in until you prove to me that you've got your confidence back and you're going to get it done. And so partway, lucky for Jacob, he talked about this, he's in the band, right? What a musically talented, that dude, like he's going to go to Juilliard or something. I mean, that's what he wants to do. And so he got to go decompress at halftime and play his drums and be part of the band. And so he reflected on that and how that helped him let go of the mistakes he'd made in the first half, and he got some confidence back, and he saw what was happening in the third quarter, and he finally went back to Coach Wilder and said, I'm ready to go back in and I'm going to get it done. And
he went
play.
He went into the football game and drummed them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But one of the biggest plays. One of the biggest plays of the overtime. Yeah, put on shit, right? One of the biggest plays of the overtime was the same play that he'd gotten beat on before, and he made the play that time, and he'd gotten a penalty earlier in the game because he didn't turn his head around or whatever. So there was lots of great stuff. Christian Aviles, can't talk about him enough. Defensive ends don't typically get 37 production points. I want to say he had 3 sacks and 4 tackles for losses, and much to our confidence in him, he finally played the kind of game that we expected of him from game 1, and so that was a huge thing.
It's got to be gratifying for y'all as coaches to look across the board and see that everybody contributed. It was a true team effort. Yeah. And that's the thing, and this is what we've been talking about is
We still didn't play great. I mean, I hate to be that cynical, skeptical guy, but that's what I get paid to do. We should have beat them by 3 touchdowns. I mean, I knew going in that we were better than them. Our kids are smart. They watch film. We knew that we were better up front than them, and we knew that our quarterback was better than their quarterback, and we knew that they had one receiver that was maybe as good as 3 of ours, and we knew that we were a better team than them, but our confidence was a little shaken because we had lost some close games, and we weren't sure, and we kind of, I think I used the word quivering. We were quivering about our trust in each other and whether or not we could actually get it done. And so that's why it was such a huge win, because we proved to ourselves that we could overcome getting behind. I mean, we're ahead at halftime. I told the kids, if we run the 2-minute drill before halftime and go in and score and go up 31-17 at halftime, the game is over. It's over. We come out, we stop them on defense in the second half, we go score again, we're up 38-17, they're done. There's nothing left. But that didn't happen. We had to come out and fight. They took the lead. They tied it up. They took the lead from us. We kind of exchanged punts back and forth, and they were able to take the lead and get ahead. But the big thing, we've talked about as kids, and we showed them this morning the video highlight. And after it was over with, I talked to them about what won that game was at no point along the way did anybody, coaches, trainers, managers, players, backup starters, head coach, coordinators, whatever, ever doubt each other and that we were going to get the win. And that was the best thing about that game. And you were able to see it on the video. You were able to see how when they scored, we talked about, we got a punch back. We used the word championship. This is championship football. They score, we got to go score. They get a stop, we got to get a stop. And so that, that's what it was all about. And so, all the glory to God on that, and that, he put us in that position. We were able to reflect what we're supposed to do in light of that, and give it up to him that we were able to get where we needed to be. And we had to win that game. I mean, that was a huge deal. We had to do it. We did it, and it's over. Now we got to flush it, unfortunately. I mean, and really we flushed it on Monday of last week. I mean, it was until today we really hadn't talked about Bernie since a week ago Monday. So, but it was a great win at home, and shout out to our fans, our whole community. I don't know, in that overtime period, I don't know if I've felt as electric energy from our fans and from the bench and from the sideline and all that. And so the kids knew that everybody was behind them and that we were going to get it done. So yeah, it's a great stepping stone to the new season, if you will. So,
and that tough preseason schedule,
yeah,
I know in my heart it's going to pay off. Already has. I mean,
yeah.
You can already...
Yeah.
You can already see it.
Yeah, and you could certainly see it. Last week, and I was talking to Mr. Padgett, the FFA director, today about just our programs and how they and when you judge football, I mean, people don't have a lot of regard for us because we're 2-3 right now, but that's people who don't know anything about football and people that don't understand who we're playing and don't understand why we're playing Kerrville and why we're playing. I mean, we're playing those people for tonight. I mean,
exactly.
That's what this was all about. So, irregardless, it doesn't matter. It's a one day at a time thing. We got to win right now, win today, win today's practice. We're to the game now. Praise be to God. It's a long time, 2 weeks, open week and all that. So, but, we're going to get after it, and it paid off, and we'll see what happens now.
Well, as you watch the film,
yeah.
I know you saw a lot of good, but was there some things you want to – I know there's some things you want to
opportunistic, the opportunistic on all 3 phases in regard to the fact that when we needed something to happen from the special teams, it happened. Rob Zuberbuehler has a 76-yard punt that flips the field and gives us a chance to give them a short field, stop them, get the ball at midfield, and go score to tie the game and force overtime. So that was huge. And notably on that was right after we had given him a snap over his head, and he bumbled around and shanked one to like the 6-yard line, and they scored to take the lead. And so lesser men, if you will, fold and put their heads down. And I told the kids this morning, I'll be honest, all of us are human and all of us are sinned. And in that moment, your thought is, oh my God, here we go again. That's what you think in that moment. That's just human nature. And you have to this guy right here, the guy leading the team, has to say to himself, we got this. We got this. Because I got to decide, do we punt in a regular punt formation next time? Because last time we snapped it over his head. Do I have confidence in that center? The answer is yes, I do. I have utmost confidence in Hunter Metzger to get it right. He's a human. He made a mistake. He fixed it. He got it right. He comes out the next time. He snaps it right to him. He punts it. It goes 76 yards. We flip the field, win the game. I mean, so that's the thing that I think came out of that game, is that's how we all have to think, is that we're going to have it no matter what happens. Bad things are going to happen. I'll tattle on Jared Beard a little bit. He was upset with himself because he dropped a wide open pass. He was really down on himself, and at one point on the sideline, I said, "Hey, let's go, come on!" And of course, he's playing great every time anyway. And that really, when he gets down on himself, he plays better. So it's kind of a good thing. But I'm like, dude, and he apologized to me, and I said, "Dude, you don't have to be sorry to me, dude. Let that go. Let's move on." And that's kind of the thing that you got to teach him, is we're all going to make mistakes. So let it go, and let's go do something else. And Hunter proved that. Jarrett proved it later, making those great plays. And so that's kind of the things that, aren't seen in the lessons. Offensively, I think we moved the ball up and down the field. We were able to run the ball exceptionally well, threw it well too. Tucker is commanding the offense like he needs to be. The O-line played great. Dylan Arns had another big night. Receivers were spread around. Certainly Jarrett and Judd are going to get the line share of the balls, but people are going to try to take them away. So Winnecke's going to catch a big ball. Kozlowski's always going to catch a possession to get us a first down or whatever. We're going to get the tight end involved in that. And then defensively, like I said, we played extremely opportunistic. And the overtime was all about the defense. I mean, really, that was a huge deal. So, and special teams, our little kicker, Aaron, he's coming along. Put him in a tough situation twice to end the game. He's got a chance to win the game, and this just shows you the details and how much they matter. We line up for that field goal, and every lineman's supposed to have a 6-inch split, but human nature makes you tighten it down because you don't want them to come in the middle. So if you take that 6 inches out, that's 24 inches all the way out. That's 2 feet that guy has to come off the edge and block that kick. You watch the film, and that's what happens. We're standing foot to foot. If we get our splits, that guy doesn't block that kick, and that one probably goes in. So those are the details that, the kids have to understand that matter, that nobody really sees, until you watch the film. And so they were able to block that one, and then he came back and kind of just barely missed one in the first overtime to win the game. But those are little details that we got to get fixed and understand, and those are things that we got to do a better job of coaching them in practice to fix those little details. But really, those little details are going to get fixed, and they're going to be a matter of putting Aaron Cadero in that position in a non-district game that doesn't matter, but the pressure of doing it in front of a home crowd in overtime or right at the end of the game to win a game, that might win us a game tonight, and it might win us a game against Lampasas in 4 weeks or in 2 weeks against Canyon Lake or whatever. And so he certainly gained from that as well.
How was practice this week?
It was amazing. Well? They like I said, after Wimberley, we haven't had a bad practice really. I mean, certainly we're human and whatever, but we haven't had a bad practice, and we've talked about this a lot. When you win, everything tastes better, everything feels better, everything. I mean, that's
what I was going to say. Probably upbeat.
Losing sucks and winning makes everything better. I mean, that's just the way it is. So practice has been good. Our kids are upbeat. It's a grind going through an off week and then a normal week of practice. We had three pretty tough practices last week, implementing some stuff against Liberty Hill. Our goal was to see what they do and walk and talk it as much as we could so that we could fit all the gaps and we could block all the schemes and do all that stuff, and then come into this week and be able to rep it as many times as you can and see it, see all the different things they do. So had really good practice, and we had a little bit of fun. One day we played linemen 7-on-7. We let the linemen throw the ball around and catch because they don't ever get to touch the ball. And we made the backs and receivers do pass protection, which they never get to do. They don't even know how to do it. It's kind of funny watching them do that. And then one day we played red zone offense, and we had the backs play line and the line play back. So the quarterback was a lineman and the running back was a lineman, and so we had a little bit of fun. And then one day we played kickball and we played wiffle ball. So we took one period of practice each of those days and just did something fun. And that came from them after their player-led meeting they had after Wimberley. They said that, hey, we need to do something that's fun. And so I said, I hear you. And we're going to do something that's fun, and we're going to do it for 4 minutes, and then we're going to work the rest of the time. So you're going to get 4 minutes of fun. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. I mean, it is all fun, but certainly you have to take the time to let them decompress and let them let go of it. Kind of like I referenced, Jacob, gets to decompress at halftime because he gets to go play in the band. So it's a great thing. And so, yeah, we've had two weeks of good practice. And I think we're ready. I mean, if you can't get ready to play football today with the weather and all of that, I don't know. You better wake up or get a heartbeat or something.
Well, I know we're all ready. So.
Yeah. No, it's good. So
well, we're going to talk about the Whataburger Players of the Week from the Bernie game when we come back. But right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break right here. TexasRadio.net, United-Live.com. Gaddy's Pizza in Fredericksburg is a huge supporter of Battlin Billies Sports, students, and teachers. In fact, Gaddy's offers a lunch special for teachers and students Monday through Friday for only $6.99, and that includes a drink. Gaddy's Pizza also has pasta, dessert, and one of the best salad bars in town. Enjoy the game room. Kids of all ages love it. Gaddy's takes pizza seriously. 2931 Highway 16 South in Fredericksburg. Billy Pride, Iberales.
Arrowhead Bank has provided quality banking services for the Texas Hill Country for 96 years. This time-tested practice continues even in today's technologically advanced world. Online commercial services, person-to-person payments, and mobile banking are just a few of the products Arrowhead Bank offers for your financial convenience. Visit us today at arrowheadbanktexas.com and try us out for safe and sound banking technology. Arrowhead Bank, a better brand of banking since 1923. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dutchman's Meat Market in Fredericksburg is the place for premium meats. Not only can you find the best cuts of meat, but Dutchman's has fresh sandwiches for lunch, a variety of snack sticks, multiple jerkies, and dried sausage. Dutchman's also has a large assortment of rubs, spices, and sauces for all your meats. So go see Dutchman's at 1609 East Main in Fredericksburg, or call in an order at 830-997-5693 or online at dutchmansmarket.com.
Don't forget the poppers! Hill Country Refrigeration has provided the Texas Hill Country with quality heating, air conditioning, and commercial refrigeration service for 45 years. They offer dependable, friendly, and professional customer service. Hill Country Refrigeration can also assist with new construction design and installation. Hill Country Refrigeration, customizing comfort in the Hill Country since 1974. Call 830-997-2584. Online, hillcountryrefrigeration.com. License number TACLB 005208C. And we're back. Woo!
We're back.
Barefoot, 108 East Main.
All gas, baby. Here we go.
You betcha. Coffee with Coach.
Yeah.
JD Rose, Coach Lance Moffet with you here. Going to talk about the Whataburger Players of the Week in just a little bit, but you got some other folks to thank.
Yeah, plug the Whataburger, of course. They have become our food partner. We certainly appreciate them. They are equivalent to they're kind of between a premier sponsor and a founding sponsor on our scoreboard. They between all the things they donate and the food they give us, they're about $6,000 a year they donate to the entire athletic program. And the guise of that is, I'm trying to get to a point where every time one of our teams leaves to go to a game, we can feed them. And I'm not speaking just about football. I'm speaking about middle school volleyball and middle school basketball and middle school and high school JV and high school freshmen. And so we're Todd Keener, our Booster Club treasurer, Cindy Gallagher, our president, Monica Jenwright and Heather Crocker are all committed. Those are the officers of our Booster Club. We are all committed to making this sponsorship and this scoreboard and the particular fundraiser that we're doing right now. I got to plug that too. We're selling tumblers like this, except they have our logo on them. You can buy them for $25 or $30 for the bigger ones. And all of that money we're trying to raise is so that we can come up with a line item budget each year so that we can tell each head coach, okay, give us your schedule, tell us when you're going, and we'll make sure that we have money for you to feed your kids. And that's kind of an old school thing. When I first started coaching, all school districts did that, and budget crunch hit us, and they redid how they do the funding, and Austin moved money around and whatever. And so school districts were hit with, we can't do that anymore. And that's kind of been the trend in my career. And so we've worked really hard to try to get that out. Shout out to our parents and our moms, especially Billy moms, who have filled that gap for all these years. So I certainly don't want to imply that we're not feeding our kids. Our kids always get fed, but it's been on the backs of our families and our mothers up to this point. And so, the idea is you take a kid out of school at 2:30 in the afternoon to go to a softball tournament wherever, and they don't get home until midnight. You probably ought to feed them. That's just logic, right?
Right.
And then the other side of it is, from a nutritional standpoint, if you look at the colleges and you see what they're doing with their athletes, they have all these sensors, and they take their blood, and they do all this stuff. It's almost like they're machines, really, but they know exactly how many carbohydrates and how many sugars and how many whatever. And so, in high school, we kind of don't do any of that. It's like, just eat something. Here we go. Get something to eat before the game or whatever. So and that's not true either. We encourage our kids. Chocolate milk is a huge deal. We feed our kids in football. We feed them every day at the end of practice. Our food service department comes down. And so, but anyway, I'm getting off track. The whole deal is Whataburger's been a huge sponsor for that, and they sponsor our Player of the Week. And then we got some other food sponsors: Airport Diner, Auslander, West End Pizza, and Backwoods Barbecue have agreed to help sponsor our team dinners. And those are a big deal, big team bonding thing. I got the pleasure of hosting over the break. They asked me to host team dinner, and I was flattered that they asked. In fact, I was a little heartfelt about it because I hadn't been able to do that. We did that when our son played, and we did it when our daughter played volleyball, but we hadn't done it in a few years, and so we hadn't had all the kids at the house in a while. So it was nice they came over and played pool, and we threw washers and hung out and ate some brisket. And of course we didn't get enough food, of course. You feed 40 boys, and
right.
I don't know if you can have enough food. My wife worked really hard on all these desserts, and they thought they were appetizers. And so before they even ate food, all the desserts were gone. So, and then I think we ate every single piece of brisket there was to offer. So, but it was good. We had a good time, and back to the chemistry of the team. I was really pleased when they left, because I was talking to my wife, and she said, these kids, they think they're going to beat Liberty Hill. And I was like, yeah, they do. They ought to, because that's what they've been told, and that's how they've been coached. But that's half the battle. When you play somebody like Liberty Hill, we've never beaten them. Our program has never beaten Liberty Hill. And so, the natural tendency is to think that, here we go again. And so back to trying to fight that natural tendency, Coach Gibbs reminded me, when Blake was a senior, my son, or a junior, and Kyle Ray and that group were juniors, Kyle Grona, the Moore brothers, all that group were seniors. We had them. We were down 35-32 with about 2 minutes left in the game, and we kicked an onside kick at their place the last time we played over there, and questionable call. They called us offsides, and they gave the ball to them, and they were able to run the clock out. And so otherwise, we're going to go win the game and beat Liberty Hill for the first time. And so that's the kind of mindset you got to have. You got to go into it thinking that you're going to win and knowing that you're going to have each other's back and get it done. But back to the Players of the Week. Great week for the JVs and the freshmen last week. Our JV Red from the previous week, Logan Metzger was our JV Red Player of the Week against Bernie. Golly, it's been so far, I can't even remember whether we won or lost. We won that game. Our JV Red won. They dominated. Those guys, and we're going to talk about what they did last night in a minute, but they have really come together. And one of the things I told them last night, that it seems the same way every year on our JV, because of the way we we kind of move kids, and we have kids that they're not. We kind of, I don't know, not disrespectfully, but they're tweeners. We're not sure if they're going to be on varsity, if they're going to be on JV, and we got to kind of decide we want them to play, and then at some point we need them, and so they kind of go between, and so that happens every year. And then you factor in the injuries, and that JV team, from a standpoint of who starts every week in, week out, it's very difficult because they got kids injured, they got kids moving up, moving down, kids go, and so for them to maintain the chemistry, and right now they're 4-2. I mean, they won last night. I'll go ahead and say that. They beat Bernie, and they beat Bernie handily, and they played really kind of old school ball control football. Clay Feller is the fullback on that team, and we've nicknamed him Larry Zonka, or some of the old school fullback guys, because he's hard nosed and he runs over people, and that kind of gives them a ball control style of offense. And of course, against Bernie, Logan Mester, he's all over the field and making plays and did a great job. And then JV White went to Mason, and we tied them 14-14. But Logan Love is our player of the week for that team. I'm so proud of that kid. He caught a touchdown pass, and it was the first time he scored a touchdown as a wide receiver. He played quarterback in middle school, and it was a huge play. I think it was 4th down, and we had to throw the ball deep, and we ran a deep seam route by 2 receivers, and little Aiden Heinsohn threw a good ball, and Logan, he's full stride, throws his hands up, catches the ball, scores a touchdown. We go crazy. We tie Mason, who by the way had beaten us 32-0 the week before. So they beat us 32-0, then we go and tie them 14-14. So it was a great game for them. Good
stuff.
And then our freshman player of the week, David Suarez, number 60, is a lineman for us, both sides of the ball. And he's just a guy, I always say this, I love it when linemen get the player of the week, because that means they did something extremely significant. They dominated the entire game at their position, and so that's a huge deal, and shout out to him. And good group of kids all the way across. And then for the varsity players of the week, I already mentioned special team players, Rob Zuberbuehler, and he's Cowboys reference for us older people. He is our Bill Bates, right, from the Cowboy days.
Yeah, man.
The post Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson end of Tom Landry's career. Bill Bates was the guy that made plays all over the field, and Rob is certainly that guy, and he's an amazing young man, and just has led his grade level since they came together. He has always been their quarterback, their leader, their whatever, and he has really come of himself this year as a varsity player, and there's nothing he can't do in special teams, and so he did a great job with that, and both on kickoff and all that. And then our defensive players of the week, it's hard, if we pick the player of the week, it's on production. We measure everything they do. We count tackles, and we count mistakes, and we count tackles for a loss and sacks and whatever. And typically your linebackers, if your defense is functioning like it's supposed to, your 2 inside linebackers ought to be your most productive people every week. And so certainly Luke Duderstadt and Hunter Mesker and Dylan Arns have all earned that honor, but it's exceptional when someone from a line position is able to win the player of the week. So this week we had 2. Hunter Metzger was most productive, as he should be. He had 39 production points or whatever, and it was mostly based on how many tackles he had. He was all over the field. He had a couple of big tackles for losses. He had a sack. He did a great job. But then I already alluded to the fact Christian Alvarez is the co-defensive player of the week, and he played the game that we'd been wanting him to play against Bernie. He was dominant. They could not block him. They could not run his direction. If they tried to run away from him, he chased them down. He was all over the place. So I couldn't be more proud of him for that. And then offensively, shout out to Judd Beard, number 6. I alluded to the fact that Jarrett got upset with himself. The good news on that situation, because he dropped that ball, I told him, I said, well, you just wanted Judd to score that touchdown. Of course, that doesn't help anything when you say that. So, but Judd was able to be a main role player in the offense, and Judd has been a steady player all year and will continue to be. And again, he's playing both ways, and the greatest thing about him was he was so tired at the end. but he didn't want to come off the field when we were in overtime, and we didn't want to take him off the field, and that's a testament to who he is and how much he loves his teammates. So those are our players of the week, and they did a great job, and we're proud of them, and appreciate Whataburger for supporting them.
You betcha.
So yeah, no,
I know I love me some Whataburger. Can you tell? But well, on the
Good
road
stuff.
tonight against Liberty Hill, the defending 2018 state finalist Liberty Hill.
Yeah, they lost one game last year, and it was in the state finals. And it was to a La Vega team that looked like an NFL team. So,
how many players they got coming back? Do you know offhand? Or?
I know they graduated between 35 and 40. Liberty Hill did. So they certainly are affected by graduation. But when you're them and you have 100 underclassmen, I mean, they had right at 50 freshmen last night. They had right at 50 JV kids. And then they've got a few more on varsity than we do, and they two-platoon everybody. There's very few kids that play both ways on their team. That's just not what they believe in. So, and they have huge numbers. I mean, their school is at the top end of 4A Division I. Anybody hoping for things to happen the right way, they hope that they'll go up at realignment to 5A. They were exceptionally dominant in every sport last year. They went to the state finals in football. They were in the state finals in girls and boys basketball. They went to the state semifinals in baseball, I think. They're always good in track. And at their level, it just becomes a numbers game. They're in a particular geographical region where Leander is exploding at the seams and Georgetown is exploding at the seams, and so all of that suburban growth is now hitting Liberty Hill. And so when you have that kind of suburban growth, you have success in, and then certainly I'm not saying that they don't have great coaching and they have great players and all that. I'm just saying in high school sports, success is certainly determined by growth and suburban growth and that kind of stuff. So they have that, and they have a tradition. They win. They've won forever. Coach Jerry Vance was there for 20-something years. Coach Walker, who's there now, was the offensive coordinator in 06 and 08 when they won the state title. He was able to get a head coaching job at Rogers. He went there for a few years, and Coach Vance retired, and he came back. So, excuse me, consistency and tradition is what they're known for. And then the style of offensive play that they have. They run the slot T, wing T. I'm not sure what they call it. It's a cult. There's certain people that come from the same lineage of coaches that all learned it from the same guy, and they've all gone on to go, and they all do it well, and they all do it the same. Liberty Hill certainly does it good, and I'm not a big fan of it because it's really hard to defend, but they do it well, and they believe in what they do, and that produces quality every year. So they're certainly, regardless of graduation and seniors that aren't there anymore, they just reload every year. It's not a matter of them not being good. They're still good. Certainly they're 2-2 on the season. They've lost 2 games this year, which is not characteristic of them. They last year, I think, they beat Hutto and Manor. This year they didn't. They fell to Hutto and Manor. A couple of close games. But that they are who they are. From the beginning of the season, they were picked to win the district. They're still ranked in the top 20 at least in the state, just because they're Liberty Hill and who they are, and they're good. I mean, Coach Walker does a great job. They do a great job on defense. They're a good program, and so they're still picked to win the district. And I wouldn't say anything I've seen that's not an accurate pick, but we're going to have something to say about it tonight.
Right, exactly.
We get our chance. Like I told the kids, it's we burn the ships because congratulations, you're in the playoffs. Let's go win a district title. I mean, that's what it's all about. So. And if you want to do that, you got to beat them. So,
well, how about their defense and special teams? They got to.
Yeah. Well, defensively, they're going to be an odd front. Beatty is their guy. He's number 88. He's huge. He's a UTSA commit. He played for him last year. He's played a little tight end in 7-on-7. We saw him 2 years ago in 7-on-7, and he's a dominant player. He anchors the defensive front, and he's really hard to block, and he makes plays. And then defensive coordinator does a really good job of fitting the rest of the defense around what he does, and he kind of sets the tone for them, and then they set off of him, and they fit gaps, and they run to the football well, and they, like I said, they have high expectations for their kids, and you don't places like Liberty Hill and Mason and Lake Travis and Westlake, and you can go down the list of all the places that are proverbial, state playoff deep runs. There's just an expectation, and you don't get away with not playing to your full potential in those places, because if you do, you're sitting on the bench, and they've got enough kids that's not an option, So they're good on a defensive side. And then special teams, they've got 2 kids who both kick, and I believe they're brothers, and they both kick, and so that shores up their kicking game. They can put the ball wherever they want it in any situation. And again, because of their tradition, because of the way they run their program, they execute well, they function well. And so, they're a solid 3-phase football team. And then offensively, we've already mentioned the slot T. It's all about misdirection. It's all about forcing you to have repetitive discipline and not get bored. That's the thing. On defense, we have to do the same thing 117 times, and if we do something different, they might score. Like if we don't watch our key, it happened last night. We hadn't talked about the JV and the freshmen, but it happened last night on the freshmen. One play, one outside linebacker looks at this guy instead of that guy, and that guy runs right by us, and by the time he realizes it, it's too late. They're not known for throwing. The quarterback doesn't even have to throw a good ball because the guy's wide open. Just throw it over everybody and let him go catch it. And they actually scored 2 touchdowns on our freshmen last night on passes, which is, I think the varsity has passed like 17 times in 5 games. We passed 17 times in a series.
Right.
That's what we're going to do. So it's a different brand, a different style, but and it's effective and it works, and so kudos to them for what they do. But certainly it can be defensed, and it can be offensed, and it can be kicked. We can counter what they do. So they're really good at what they do, and kudos to them and Coach Walker and his whole staff and who they are as a program, and their entire program is amazing. And we certainly want to be measured in the same breath as them, and you got to do it by beating them. So we're going to get after their tail tonight and see what we can do. And I think that if you compare 40 seniors or whatever, I certainly not going to take them lightly because all those guys graduated because they have such a great program, but
right.
They are certainly not the same team they were last year. They have some vulnerabilities. They have turned the ball over more this year than they probably ever have. They've made more mistakes up front than they probably ever have, in terms of penalties and stuff like that. So last year, when you watch them on film, we going into it, we debated not showing the film to the kids because of how good they were. We didn't want to. They were just a fine oiled machine that they did not make mistakes. So this year they're a little more human than they were last year. They're certainly still superhuman, but they're human. So hopefully we can get after them for sure.
You bet. Should be a great way to start off district.
No doubt.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
Well, of course, October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. NFL teams kind of observe that. Are y'all guys going to do anything for I got to get some coffee with Coach first before I do this. Certainly we are. Everybody knows our situation. We lost a dad this year to bile duct cancer, and so you go through that. Tom Cates was vice president of our booster club, chief operator of our booster club, and Billy Spirit. I've got pictures of him on my phone hanging flags in our stadium when he's going through all this. Yeah. And so you go through that and you're like, what are we going to do? Certainly we're going to love on the family, and we're going to take care of Travis and take care of Aaron and take care of Ryan and all of that. And that's all been amazing. Our booster club and our team, and we're all wearing these. These are the bracelets. The color for
I can't even say the word, colon carcinoma foundation. That's their color is green. And so instead of us observing breast cancer, we're observing bile duct cancer, and every dime we're raising. What we do typically is we ask our kids to pay $5 to wear a pink something, a pink towel, a pink wristband, a pink whatever. And we've all been wearing these our entire program. I see some in the crowd. We bought some green tape. So Coach Hanley and our taping staff, our coaches and our trainers, every kid paid $5 a piece. And I'm so proud of them because most of them paid 20 and 40 and whatever. And so we're going to have either pink or green, significant of what we do. We're going to spat our shoes and wear wristbands and elbow tape and whatever. And some of them are going to have pink. Certainly you don't want to diminish breast cancer. We're all affected by cancer. I had them raise their hand the other day. I said, how many of you have been affected by cancer? And everybody person had their hand up. So
that's
so it's certainly something that we all share. That's not good, but what a great way to show kids how to give back and to do something that might mean something for someone else. So I'm getting all teared up, man.
Well, it's that kind of a subject. That's for sure.
Anyway, that's what we're gonna do, and we're doing it. Last night we had 30 kids on the JV and a freshman that did the same thing, and they've all got a green ribbon on their helmet that we put on. I mean, we put that on like when we started the season. And then last night, Mr. Gonzalez and I, no one knows this, I'm going to unveil this right now. We're going to do No Shave November for the campus, and we're going to let the kids we're going to let the athletes, the football kids, collect money at lunch. And if you get a wristband, then you don't have to shave. That's one of the big dress code things during the school. So
there you go.
And that was Mr. Gonzalez's contribution to us, carrying on the tradition of giving back. And so certainly it means a lot to us this year. It should mean a lot to us every year, but this year it's extremely significant. And our team is bonded around this thing this year. So we're proud to do it and want to role model it for the rest of the group. So and I'll shout out to the junior class. Next week when we play Taylor is our pink out game. Everyone's encouraged to buy one of the pink shirts. You can't buy them anymore because it closed last week. But if you already have a pink shirt, then wear it to the game next week against Taylor, the pep rally. And all the money raised for that is also going to go to the Colon Carcinoma Foundation this year as well. So, and so it's just a hard thing to figure out what you're going to do that's appropriate and that's the right thing to not, whatever. And certainly along the way, you include Travis and Aaron Cates and make sure that they are on board with everything you're doing and that they understand, that you're here for them and you want to do everything you can. So we certainly have their approval and we love them and that's what we're going to do. So
well said.
Thanks for asking a question that made me cry. I appreciate it.
Well said. Well, we're going to take a
certainly
quick
won't
break.
be a first because I cry all the time. But
I do too. I'm just a big old softy. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah,
though.
thank you for taking a break.
We'll be back. We're going to talk about sub-varsity, see how they came out in just a little bit right here. TexasRadio.net, United-Live.com.
Hey, volleyball fans. Joseph Financial Partners is here to support the Battlin Billies and to help you with all of your financial goals. Whether it's saving for retirement, college savings, or even life insurance or long-term care, we've got your back. Let us serve up an appointment with you, then dig into your finances, goals, and dreams. Hey, and then we can assist and set a plan in motion and spike your goals to score. Success takes teamwork, so call Joseph Financial Partners at 830-997-4763 or check us out online at josephfinancialpartners.com. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA/SIPC.
Canop Healthcare in Fredericksburg, established in 1965, offers the Texas Hill Country assisted living, long-term care, and physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Canop Healthcare is family-owned and operated with skilled nurses in every department. Plus, they offer the Hill Country memory care. Find them at canophealthcare.com or call 830-997-3704.
Hills of Texas Homes in Fredericksburg designs homes for you built by engineers. The Stevens family does everything in-house to build your home, so no outside architect or plan designer is required. When you're building the home of your dreams, that's peace of mind. Hills of Texas Homes has won numerous awards from the Hill Country Builders Association and Parade of Homes. Hills of Texas Homes will work with you through the entire building process. Call 830-889-7900 or visit hillsoftexashomes.com.
When you have an accident in that vehicle you rely on, there is peace of mind in the Hill Country. Lance's Body and Paint, they offer all types of collision repair. They work with all insurance companies. Lance's Body and Paint is iCar certified, so you know you're getting the latest repair technology in Fredericksburg and in the Texas Hill Country. Lance's Body and Paint, Highway 290 East in Fredericksburg, supports our Fredericksburg Battlin Billies. Call 830-990-2900.
Hey,
Here we go.
there we go.
Welcome back.
TexasRadio.net, United-Live.com. Tell all your friends. Don't forget King and Cayman with play-by-play tonight right here,
No doubt.
TexasRadio.net. And if you can't make it, but man, get there if you can.
Do a great job, no question.
Fill
And
the
come
stands.
to Barefoot, too, and support Barefoot in their Billy gear. They,
Absolutely.
certainly have been
108's
good to
name.
us as a program throughout the years.
You bet. That's awesome folks here.
Yep.
Sub-varsity in St.
Yeah.
Mary's Middle School. How did
Yeah,
everything go?
did you guys cover St. Mary's game last week?
We did not, but I know
Certainly they won a big win.
They won big,
They
yeah.
got a big win, a big game tonight, I believe, versus Holy Spirit, but maybe that's who they beat last week. This week is a big game against a team that they kind of battled in a scrimmage, and so this week will determine whether or not they have a playoff seeding at home. So if they win tonight, then they'll be playing their playoffs at home next week. So they'll get another home game. So that'll be a big deal.
How about them apples?
Yeah, shout out to Coach Lott and his group. They do a great job of getting those kids ready. And
We've talked about that. It's just awesome. They run the same same offense and defense basically you do.
Yeah, they do, and he's done that from the beginning. He was
Yeah.
all in from the minute we met him.
Yeah.
They met with our coaches. We've had two of our coaches retire that are now over there coaching, so that's even more of our system that's being brought in over there. And it's just a great thing. It's neat for me to see the two groups come together. This year's freshman group is just as good as an example as last year's was. Last year's group was 8-2 district champs. This year's group is 3-3 right now, but they have come together and are becoming a really good football team and will contribute. And it's neat to see the two groups come together and have success. And we've 9 years we've been here, we've had 2 seasons that we've had less than 7 wins on the freshmen. And I mean that's pretty significant, and that's based on the two teams coming together because it's hard in middle school. In middle school, it's hard to be successful. And I'm going to shout out to FMS. Their record right now is 14-4-1.
Wow!
On however many games that is, I guess that's 19 games. Yeah, they played 19 games because they only played 3 yesterday. So they're 14-4-1. And just having a great year. Last night they beat Bandera 3-0, swept them. The 7th grade white team won to start the night. Then the 7th grade red team won, and then the 8th grade red team finished the night with a 32-18 win on the road at Bandera. So both of those groups are doing a great job feeding the program, if you will, right? That's the way it works. Also saw the volleyball program at St. Mary's is doing well, as is the FMS volleyball program. I mean, our group swept Llano this week, and are doing an amazing job. So shout out to them. And then our sub-varsity last night, we went 1-1-1. Our JV white team played Canyon Lake, the first of a 3-game set. They're going to play Canyon Lake the next 3 weeks, and I think we're gonna let the kids vote on this today. But we tied 12-12, so next week we go to Canyon Lake. I think we're going to start the game with 12-12 on the scoreboard, and we're just going to keep a running score, and whoever has the most points at the end is district champion because they're the only one that has that third team. So we're going to play them 3 weeks in a row, get those guys 3 weeks of play against the SWAT T, and they played their hearts out last night. Little Aiden Heinsohn, man, that dude, we've affectionately nicknamed him Sam Ellinger because he runs over people when he runs with the football, and he throws the ball just as effectively. He had a huge run down the sideline, and he trucked a guy and kept going to score to kind of sustain the tie rather than getting the loss. So they did a great job. And then the freshmen took on Liberty Hill, and arguably I mentioned, their numbers. They had quite a few more kids than we did. We have about 23 on that team, 26 minus injuries. And so because some of those kids were playing on the white team too, so and they had 45 to 50 kids on their sidelines. So we battled, and typically against Liberty Hill you can't make mistakes. We had 3 interceptions, and we gave up 2 touchdowns on passes. Like I alluded to earlier, if you don't read your key and the guy runs by you, then you give up a touchdown. And so they lost 36-24, 12-point loss, but Liberty Hill never stopped us on offense. Little Matthew Smith caught a ton of balls and a couple of touchdowns, and Seidenberger and Dagenhart, the 2 quarterbacks, did a great job of distributing the ball, and Gary Seidenberger runs hard, and all these other kids are making plays on the field, and they're getting after it. And the best thing about them is that they were exceptionally upset about losing last night. They hated the fact that they lost to Liberty Hill, but they're going to bounce back from that, and they'll go play Taylor next week and get after it. And then our JV, I've mentioned them a couple times. They won 28-14, which again, Liberty Hill's got almost 50 kids on the sideline, and we've got 26, because we're trying to let every kid play. We're trying to get kids better at football, and so. And our guys whipped them. I mean, our 25 or whatever, our 30, put a whipping on their 50 or whatever. So, fired up about that. We had ball control offense. I alluded to the fact that the JV team struggles with guys moving up and guys moving back and guys getting hurt and different things happening. We've got a couple of really good players that didn't play last night because they were injured. We have moved Cole Immel up to the varsity for the remainder of the season. He is now going to assume the role as the backup quarterback. He's going to play on some special teams because we can't afford to not finish a game with a backup quarterback. We strategically did that during non-district so that Cole could get a lot of reps. And I think it's paid off. He led that JV group to a 3-2 record in non-district. Now they're 4-2. They won last night, and shout out to Cade Yinsky, who took over at quarterback. And you wouldn't have thought that we missed a beat. I mean, that dude has improved a bunch. I mean, he has gotten so much stronger and faster. And I mean, I was shocked at how fast he was last night. I mean, he's running by Liberty Hill, and one play. If it would have been on a game film like a TV broadcast, he rode the fake so well. The entire defense, all the officials, all the fans, everybody in the stadium thought that the running back had the ball, and he pulls it out, and there's nobody over there. And he just walks in the end zone on about a 40-yard run.
He would have fooled the cameraman.
Yeah,
too,
if it would have been on TV, the cameraman would have been following the
right.
And so. Just a testament to him and who he is in terms of being a person and understanding, that's hard. When we started training camp, Cole was practicing as the backup varsity quarterback, and so Yinsky and another kid were playing quarterback on the JV, and then all of a sudden we get done with training camp, and now we say, okay, now Cole's going to play quarter. We need you to play slot receiver, and just willing to be unselfish and be a team guy and do what we need you to do to help us win, and now it's paying off because now he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy on the JV. He's the quarterback, and he proved it. He's taken over that team last night, and I honestly don't expect them to lose another game. Certainly Canyon Lakes JV will be pretty good, and probably Lampasas' JV will be pretty good, and Taylor's might too. And I'm not going to say they're going to win them all, but they're a good football team. They play good ball control offense, and they'll knock your head off on defense. And they little Clay Feller, like I said, I mentioned him earlier. He looks like Larry Zonka out there just running over people, and he runs over people to go score, and then on the ensuing kickoff, he's on the kickoff team, and he runs down and he just decleats the guy on the kickoff and gets up and goes off and gets a drink of water, and then goes back out and plays defense. It's like, this dude can go. So extremely happy with what's going on. We were 4-1-1 last night. as a program. So we won three middle school games, one high school game, tied a high school game, and lost a high school game. So good night for the Billies.
Amen.
Indeed. Yeah,
Amen.
no doubt.
Good way to go into tonight. Keys to victory over Liberty Hill. What's the main thing tonight, Coach? I know take care of the rock. That's always
Coach speak. I won't do coach speak. How about that? Okay, I won't do that. No cliches about the keys to victory. Keys to victory are playing defensive, disciplined football, period. We beat Bernie with our defense last week. Certainly our offense contributed. We scored 38 points. We gave up 31. Most people on defense would say, well, that's not a good night. Yeah, it is, because we didn't give up any in overtime.
That's right.
And they had the ball on the 25-yard line, and they had it inside the 5 twice. So so tonight it's going to be about playing great defense. It's going to be about playing disciplined great defense and being committed to it and not letting the boredom of it keep you from doing your job. Do your job is the key to victory tonight. That's it. I mean,
I like it,
and that's not a cliche. Job. I mean, it's that's what it is. Everybody on our organization has to do their job tonight, including me. And I think that's something that we talked a lot about against Bernie, is that we all have to make sure that we show each other how much we believe. And in that moment when something negative happens, we have to react the right way. And I think they're committed to that. I think they understand that. And we're going to hold each other. It's funny how kids think, but something we've been talking about all year, is it punishment or is it accountability? That's two. Those are two words. And I don't ever really think about it. I am, obviously, this year I'm thinking about it a lot. But the kids have said, Coach, let's don't call it punishment. It's accountability. Okay, because punishment's a negative word. Well, I mean, I'm like, what? Okay, so I'm trying not to say punishment anymore, right? Just trying to use a different word, and the kids have bought into that, and they throw that word out, accountability. Today, Christian Aviles talked to the team about an issue. We had a little discipline issue that I let the captains decide what we were going to do. And then I made him talk to the team about it, and he said, he did his accountability. He did, and so that's what it boils down to. Are we going to be accountable to each other enough to do our job, and are we going to hold each other accountable when we slide from the job? And that's what I saw us do against Bernie. I saw us hold each other to a positive standard rather than leak to the human nature of negativity, because that's where you get into trouble and you start to put your head down and start to, and just understand that, they're a good football team. So there's going to be some things that they're going to do well, and there's going to be some things that we're not going to do well. But as long as we do more things better than they do throughout the whole course of the deal, then we're going to come out on top. And so that's what it's going to come down to. All of the normal things, obviously, like I mentioned with the freshmen, if we turn it over 3 times, unless they turn it over 3 times, we're probably going to lose. That's just reality of football. If they turn it over 3 times and we get 4 turnovers, we're probably going to win. So all of those things have to come into play. We have to take care of the rock, like you said. We've got to be able to have a flip the field moment on special teams, like Rob did against Bernie. We've got to have something happen on special teams that steals momentum or puts them back against their goal line, that gives our defensive a chance to blitz them and get a safety or something like that. Something like that needs to happen in special teams, and then we have to keep everything in front of us from a secondary standpoint and from a special team standpoint. We have to keep Liberty Hill in front of us because they do all of this stuff. I mean, it looks like this, and if you watch all that, they get behind you and
right.
You're gone. So we can't let that happen, and then we just gotta just get after their tails and keep battling and keep believing and loving each other. We practice. I didn't mention this, but Coach Wilder, he's good at what he does, man. We practiced for 2 weeks, and we didn't have a single football on defense. Like, there was not a football on offense. Like, the quarterback didn't have a ball. So we're running all their plays to make sure that we're fitting all of our gaps. Because if you put a ball in there, everybody's looking for the ball. And that's what they want you to do. Because if you look for the ball, you think he's got the ball. No, he's got the ball.
Yeah.
And so we played 2 weeks without a football. and that's typical of defensive football against these guys and against option teams, because you want to make sure that you have the quarterback fit and you have the fullback fit and you have the wingback fit. You got to have somebody fit in all those gaps where all three of those guys can be, and they rely on the fact that you're not going to do that and you're not disciplined enough to do it. And so that's kind of the biggest thing on defense for sure. But that's it. I mean, we just got to do all those things well and function. So,
all right, man, time's flying this morning.
I hope we have a big crowd tonight too. I hope we travel well. I hope that the Bernie situation enables us to travel well. Certainly, it's not too far away. It's hour and 30 minutes, and they have a huge, beautiful facility. It's a great place to play. It's a playoff style venue. Locker rooms are awesome. The press box is amazing. The concessions are pretty good too, I think. So, but it's a great environment, and I hope that a lot of our people come and get after it. Yeah.
Well, quickly in wrapping up, fall sports, got volleyball, team tennis, cross country, and then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Raymer. Huge win Tuesday night, first district win. Been struggling, no question. I don't know if it's been since he first got here, 19 years ago or whatever, since they lost the first 3 district ball games. So real tough on them. You got 3 freshmen starting. Got a chemistry that's been trying to figure itself out all year, and I knew that it would just take one match win against a good team to help them say, okay, we can do this, and they did. They beat Canyon Lake in the second game, and they beat them pretty handily in that second game, and so that propelled them. The next game, third game, they lost. And then so it's like, oh, what? And then they went 1 game 4 and 1 game 5, and it's a huge win. Canyon Lake had previously beaten Bernie and had almost beaten Wimberley. So that win is significant in that, the way Coach Raymer does things, they're going to be in the rest of their matches the rest of the year. They may not win them all, but they're certainly going to have the confidence to do it. They play Llano at home tonight. And that'll be the end of the first round of district. Then they'll go on the road to Bandera on Tuesday. So they're you're 0-3, now you're 1-3, and so you're climbing your way. You're climbing your way back into a playoff spot. So shout out to them. They did a great job, and good luck to them on continuing that climb. And they swept them too. The freshmen and the JV did well too. Team tennis announced that they play Cameron Yo in the area playoffs next Wednesday. I believe at 3:30 is when it starts in Lampasas. So it's kind of a neutral site. This is the second round of the playoffs. They got a bye in the first round because our by-district opponent didn't have a game, and they beat Health Careers Tech yesterday, which is a school out of San Antonio that plays tennis, and we play them every year kind of between the district and the playoffs. So we beat them yesterday in our last tune-up before an actual playoff match. So that'll be next Wednesday. And then cross country ran 2 days ago in Llano, which is the site of the district meet. District meet will be next Thursday in Llano in the morning, and that'll be the district meet. And the top 3 teams, the top 4 teams will advance to regionals, and we're getting there. Our team times are getting to where they need to be. Did really well in the Llano meet. Only scored 3 groups. Our boys group just ran as a time trial, so they didn't really compete for the meet title or whatever, but they ran a really good time on their time trial. And so Coach Aldridge has got them going, and just a good time to be a Billy, man. Everything's going good. We're getting after it, so it's a good time. We got basketball coming soon. You guys are continuing to cover volleyball, and so it's a lot of great things going on campus.
You bet.
Sure. So
fall weather,
looking forward
football
to it,
weather tonight against Liberty Hill. Looking forward to it. Coach, thanks. Another great show.
Thank you.
Coach Lance Moffet, everybody.
Thank you.
And JD Rose here saying God bless you folks, and go take care of Liberty Hill.
Yes, sir.
Toch Well Service will take care of all your water well needs that come after drilling. They specialize in water pump installation and repairs, servicing windmills, solar pumps, jets, submersible pumps, and pressure tanks. Toch Well Service has been in business since 2002 with 83 years combined experience. Their entire staff is dedicated to their customers. Toch Well Service supports all men and women in the United States military and first responders. Toch Well Service, 830-997-2413. On the web, hillcountrywaterwell.com, and look for them on Facebook.